Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a literal masterclass in tension. We're breaking down a short narrative called The Midnight Passenger of Seat 4B. It's this incredibly chilling piece of storytelling that uses atmosphere, pacing, and, get this, impossible physics to absolutely terrify its audience. Okay, let's dive into this and analyze exactly how suspense is crafted in this chilling narrative.
Boston to New York, 2 a.m., 3 passengers. Just let those words sink in for a second. It immediately plunges us into this incredibly moody, super dark atmosphere. I mean, you can picture it perfectly, right? A lonely public bus driving down an empty highway, thick fog rolling in, rain streaking down the glass. The author establishes this intense, inescapable isolation right from the very first sentence.
Phase 1. The isolated setting.
So our protagonist, Mark, he isn't some action hero. He's just a tired college student sitting in the middle row of a nearly empty bus, staring blankly out into the pitch-black night. He's exhausted, he's vulnerable, and he is completely cut off from the outside world. And here's the kicker. He's one of only 3 passengers spread out across this dark vehicle. 3. Now think about it. If Mark were completely alone, his guard would immediately be up. But having just 3 people scattered in that dim, faint blue glow of the cabin, it creates this false sense of security that very quickly curdles into extreme vulnerability. Sure, there are other people around, but they're spread out across a pitch-black vehicle way too far away to actually help.
Notice how the pacing shifts here. At 2 a.m., they depart. By 2:14 a.m., we have what the source describes as a suffocatingly quiet cabin, saved only by the heavy hum of the engine and the steady rhythm of rain on the roof. Mark is really just trying to get some sleep. But then, at 2:15 a.m., literally just 1 minute later, a strange chill in the air wakes him up, and this brilliantly illustrates how the tension accelerates. In the span of just 1 single minute, we go from the lulling hum of engine noise to a sudden, terrifying chill that immediately alerts us that something is very, very wrong.
Phase 2. The impossible anomaly.
So this brings us to the inciting incident of the narrative. Mark looks up into the rearview mirror of the bus, and he finally notices the dark silhouette of a person sitting a few rows behind him, seat 4B. It's a tall figure, wearing a black raincoat with the hood pulled all the way down, completely hiding their face. And here is where we hit a massive sensory contradiction. The rain stopped an hour ago, yet there's a soaking wet raincoat hanging just a few rows back. I want you to really think about those physical contradictions. This is the exact moment the author signals to Mark and to us that something is horribly wrong. I mean, if the rain stopped a whole hour ago, why is that coat still dripping wet? It's this slow, deliberate realization that lets the sensory contrast really sink in and deeply disturb you.
This right here is what we call the impossible anomaly. It's a physical event that totally defies the natural laws of reality, and it's used in suspense to completely shatter the protagonist's sense of safety. The story uses this device perfectly. Mark looks down at the floor, and a small puddle of black, murky water is slowly crawling from seat 4B, moving along the aisle straight toward his feet. But here is the truly terrifying part. It's defying gravity. It's actually flowing upwards, against the tilt of the bus. Nature itself is just breaking down.
Phase 3. Escalating the tension.
Because once the laws of physics break down, the panic accelerates, and it traps the reader right there in his fear. The narrative escalates in this brutal logical sequence. First, the wet coat, a strange oddity. Second, the gravity-defying water, a physical impossibility. And third, sudden teleportation. This is where the panic fully kicks in for Mark. He blinks. Just one blink, and in that split second, the passenger is suddenly sitting much closer, just 1 row behind him.
So you have to ask yourself, how did the passenger close the distance with no sound or footsteps? It's such a chilling question. There was absolutely no sound, no footsteps, just a cold, dead silence. The author notes that Mark wanted to scream for the driver, but his throat felt completely frozen. The horror isn't just in this approaching figure, right? It's in Mark's complete physical paralysis. The silence itself becomes a weapon, preventing him from even calling out for help.
Phase 4. The climax and disappearance. So the crucial point here is how the environment suddenly mirrors the terror of our protagonist. Just as the tension reaches its absolute peak, the bus plunges into a long, pitch-black tunnel. The physical world goes completely dark, trapping Mark in extremely close quarters with this anomaly. Inside that tunnel, the author abruptly shifts from sensory deprivation to sensory overload, using intense, close-quarters details. Pitch-black darkness surrounds them. And then, and extreme close-up. Two glowing, pale white eyes slowly open inside the darkness of the hood. Then comes the auditory scare, a wet, raspy whisper right next to his ear, delivering the final, terrifying scare.
This is my stop, but you are coming with me.
And then we get the aftermath. The bus pulls over in the morning light under the bright sun. But the bus is completely empty. The passenger is gone. Mark is gone. The only thing left behind is a soaking wet, black raincoat lying right there on Mark's seat, just dripping with cold, dark water.
It leaves us with this final, truly terrifying thought. What happens when you realize you aren't actually alone in the dark? This story completely subverts the safety of the mundane world. It's the kind of thing that leaves you checking over your shoulder the next time you find yourself sitting alone on an empty night bus. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found this breakdown as fascinating as I did.